Hello, I'm Galactic Sweets, and welcome to Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. The first Fire Emblem game I ever played, and to this day, one of my favorites. Without further ado, before we go in actually, I want to go ahead and give you an idea of what you can expect for this video series. I'm going to be giving a lot of information to people as if it is their first time seeing anything Fire Emblem, because while I know Fire Emblem has become more popular recently, there's still a lot of people who don't know a lot about Fire Emblem. So, if you hear something that you already know, and you're a long-time Fire Emblem veteran, whether you've just been around since the Awakening days or been around since way before, yeah, just go ahead and bear with me on that. And if you're new to Fire Emblem, if you've never heard of this before, maybe you have just played Awakening or Fates and want to learn more about it, stick around. This video series should hopefully help you. And as we go through, as of the time of this recording, one of the harder to obtain Fire Emblem games, and one of my personal favorites. I'm going to be playing on normal difficulty, and I will be doing what is known as among the community as an Iron Man run, which is basically, if a unit goes down, no restarting, you just keep moving on. Without further ado, I'll go ahead and see you guys there. Oh, and don't worry about this random fix, that's not important.
Well, Ike, you had enough? Oh, missed.
Ike? Oh no!
Missed that song.
Ah, you're up. About time.
Welcome to the prologue of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Mercenaries. Are you alright? Yeah, I'll be fine. So, the sleeping prince awakens. Father, I can't believe you. I know those are practice swords, but they're still heavy. You have no right to be so rough on Ike. If this is too much for the boy, he'll never make it as a mercenary. But, Mist, you don't have to worry. I told you, I'm fine. Ha! You better be! Now grab your sword and get ready! What? Don't tell me you're going at it again, but... just until I land a single blow. I'm not giving up until I can get one good hit in on Father. I like your resolve, Ike, but it takes more than a strong will to... Aha! I honestly don't know what voice to give this guy, so bear with me on this one too. Aha! I knew I'd find you here. Hi, Boyd. What brings you here? Nothing special. You said you were going to get the boss, but you never came back. I got picked to check up on you. I seriously don't know what voice I'm giving him, but, oh well. Oh, sorry, I got caught up with Ike and my father. And picking flowers. It's nothing. Besides, I figured I'd get a good laugh watching Ike get worked over by the boss. You look fine. What happened? Nothing at all. I'm sorry to disappoint you. You just missed it. Oh, just a minute ago he was out cold. Missed. Haha, sorry. You came at just the right time, Void. You can be Ike's sparring partner. What? Me? I'm just going to go ahead and put this out right there. My TV is weird in that it occasionally the screen will black out, but the recording is perfectly fine. So if you hear me suddenly pause, that is why, because I literally can't see what's going on for a split second. I'm beginning to think it would be better if he sparred with someone closer to his own skill. I understand. Thanks for your help, Void. I don't know about this closer to his own skill business, but I'm ready. I think I just gave Void the goofiest voice I could possibly give him, and I meant to give him more voice closer to Greil's. Oh well. Alright, I'm ready for you. Let's go. Void, you have now been demoted to the goofiest voice possible. As you play the game, tutorial windows like this one will appear from time to time. Anna, your helpful hint girl who appears in every Fire Emblem game somewhere, will explain and demonstrate any new features. If you want to watch a tutorial again, simply choose Guide from the map menu. We're not going to use tutorials, but the tutorials are interesting in that they just have some really interesting dialogue. And I'll point that out when we get to it. So yes, here we have our first playable unit. That blue-haired swordsman from Smash Brothers who isn't Girl Marth, or any other blue-haired sword user. Robin's blue alt. This is Ike. He is your lord of this game. Basically, every Fire Emblem game has its main character that cannot go down in battle no matter what. They usually wield swords. Though in this case, this sword is only going to be here for this fight because you're not actually going to use wooden swords when fighting brigands and soldiers and whatnot. What you're seeing on screen right now, you saw like a graph pop up. Sorry, I just hit my pop filter. Those are Ike's growths. Basically, this series is going to go over every unit. I'm going to throw this out there right now. I am not an LTC person. I don't know LTC routes that well with this game, or low turn counts for those of you who don't know what that means. So when I talk about whether a unit's good or bad, it's not necessarily it's going to be in terms of more of a casual playthrough, not necessarily an optimal, efficient playthrough. So if I say something good and you're like, well no, because I don't use him in my LTC route. Yeah, just don't even worry about that. If you take that too seriously, that's your own issue, not mine. But here we have Ike. Your main character is going to be forced to deploy in every single chapter. If you want to know more about anything, press Y and you can sort of move around. And unlike more recent Fire Emblem games, you can't see a bit about their name themselves, but you can see his class. The Ranger class is unique to Ike. And unlike in a lot of games where Rangers tend to use bows, Ike can only use a sword. You can see weapons they use here. Type Bjork, or Bjork, there are a lot of pronunciations I'm going to get wrong in this series, so bear with me on that as well. So don't worry about that at the moment, we'll get into that later. And there's also skills, we don't need to worry about that at the moment either. Biorhythm changes on the chapter and can give bonuses or penalties to stats. Really annoying. Attributes is, well, I actually don't know too much about attributes. I'll actually have to do a little more research to come back to you on that one. And yes, you can see their starting stats here, as well as the growths that you see displayed on screen right now. So basically, the growths show the chance of when a unit levels up, when they get 100 experience, their level will go up by 1. The growths will determine whether they will gain something in that stat or not. And those percentage chances are the percentage chance they will gain it. And you can tell that because of those percentage chances, you can generally guess where units are going to excel in stats over time. They might not necessarily be that way. You might be blessed with a really good unit, a really good version of that unit who has like across the board really good stats, or you could be RNG screwed. Get a really bad unit, worse than what you would have normally had. We're going to go over... This episode is going to be going over a lot of stuff just because I do want to clear up a lot of things for first-time people. So, strength, pretty simple. It's your unit's physical strength. When you attack with a physical weapon, damage will be calculated using this. Magic, when we get to magic weapons, they will be using magic instead of strength. Skill is the chance the unit will have to actually hit someone. Speed determines how many times the unit will attack. If their speed is 5 greater than the enemy's speed, they will attack twice in a single battle. Luck, no one cares about luck. Okay, so people do care about luck, but in the casual play for you don't need to really care about luck. Defense is basically determines how much damage you take from physical attacks, and resistance how much damage you take from magical attacks. No, you don't need to worry about magic and resistance at this point. We don't have any units that worry about that stuff. For right now, just worry about strength and defense, and you don't really need to worry about skill too much either. Strength, defense, and speed are the main ones you want to know about at this moment. As for Ike is a solid unit. If you look at those growths are amazing. Ike will usually end up with most of his stats hitting the cap by the end of the game. Basically getting to his stats to the highest point possible. Ike is a solid unit, and for someone you have to deploy in every chapter, at least you got a really good character, unlike some Fire Emblem games which give you really bad lords who you have to deploy in every chapter, but have bad stats and don't end up promoting until the end of the game. Right. What? I didn't say anything. So yes, I'm going to go to the options really quick because I'm going to set the game speed the fast, the message speed the fast, and I generally... Animations, so Path of Radiance is known for having really, really slow animations. For the beginning, I'll leave them on, but for later stuff, I'm going to turn them off just because of Let's Play. Every unit has a movement stat. You can see Ike's movement is 6, it's where it says MV. And you can just move. And yes, you will move a lot slower if you have the game speed on normal, so I definitely recommend setting the game speed fast. But with that, you just move and wait. And then it's the enemy phase. Basically, this is like a really complicated version of chess. Hey, what's the holdup? Let's get started already. I'm coming. Wait right there. My movement of 6 won't even allow me to get you in a single turn. Yeah, generally enemies will move. This chapter is here just to teach you the basics. Also, the best mechanic ever in Fire Emblem, but we'll worry about that another time. So yes, when you attack, you'll see this screen. So what does this mean? HP is, well, their hit points. You can see it right here. If it hits 0, the unit is out. They're gone forever. And in the case of Ike, if his hit points hit 0, it's a game over. Also, if you're curious, you can press start, you can see an overview of the map. And if you press A again, you can see victory and defeat conditions. And so you can see victory condition in this case is defeat the boss, which by going over the enemy we can see is void. And we can see defeat is if Ike goes down in battle. Might, or MT, is basically how much damage you're going to do in battle. Hit is your hit percent, crit is your chance to crit, which will do, I believe, 3 times as much damage as normal. So you go in, and you see the glorious screen and Ike's really weird stance that kind of reminds me of a monkey. Like, seriously. You can do it! Boyd's got nothing! Take him out! Nothing? I have nothing? I mean, yeah, poor Boyd. So this is the first Fire Emblem game that actually features 3D models, so, you know, if they seem a bit bad and under par, just know that this was their first attempt, and I still think it looks great. Not, obviously, like Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia standards. Those models are, like, godly compared to this. Haha, I'm not done yet, we're just getting started. And as soon as he says that, he doesn't even attack. They talk about shove. Basically, you can push a unit back 1 space, whether it's an ally or an enemy unit, but we don't really have to worry about that at the moment. But we can see Ike will take out Boyd with this next hit. And yeah, I remember reading a post on the Fire Emblem subreddit that Ike's stance is actually based on here's actually based on a proper sword stance. I forgot the name of it, but generally it's not a stance you would use in resting. It's a stance you would actually switch to and then quickly switch from it. That wasn't too bad. Boyd, you're such a loser. Shut your trap. Good work, Boyd. That's enough. Oh, right. And I will be reading out dialogue because I love giving characters voices, I think. If my voices aren't that great, sorry, but I'll try. It's the effort, right? Your swordsmanship was decent enough, Ike. Don't forget how it felt. It won't always be this easy. I know. Now that you're done warming up, it is time for you to face me again. I was hoping you'd say that. But first, Mist. Right here. And yes, so you notice there are colored circles under units. That indicates they're essentially whether they're a friend, foe, or just an ally. Here you go, Ike. It's a vulnerary. So, blue units are units you can control, like Ike. Red units are units you can attack. In this case, it was Boyd. But you notice he became green right after. Green units are units that you don't control, but still fight along your side. They're generally more of a hindrance than an actual help. But it's nice that it's there. I'd recommend using it now before you fight Father. Last time he knocked you silly. And now the leader has taken the field himself. Always take time to heal your wounds in battle, even small ones. By the time you think you're in trouble, it's probably too late. Don't get into that situation. Let's take a look at Greil here. This is Ike's father, and he has the coveted hero class. From those of you who played other Fire Emblem games, you're thinking, wow, hero, you mean the promoted mercenary? In this game, it's a unique class to Greil only. No one else has the hero class. So, yeah. But yeah, just take a second to see. You can see he can wield axes, which is another weapon type that Boyd could wield. And he's got, well, armor. And, discipline, which I believe is a skill that only appears in the prologue. Take a second, look at his stats. And we'll go ahead and move Ike in. We could have him attack. And how much damage does you? Oh yeah, so Ike... So you see Greil will do 6 damage to Ike. And if Greil attacks on the enemy phase, he will take out Ike. So it is best if we just sit back and, well, heal. And ta-da! Healing magic. Get ready, Ike. Here I come! Yes, unlike Boyd, Greil will actually attack during the enemy phase. Give it your all! And yeah, this is generally how fights go. I like the animations of this game. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but hey, if any of you see my videos, that generally you know I just sound like a broken record in general. Come on, boy, you're going to give me a challenge this time around? I mean, Ike did say he wanted to land one good hit on Greil, and look at that. He took out 9 HP, that's pretty good. So if we attack Greil again, you will have exactly 1 HP after this, so you can sort of, in this case, you can predict how much health you have ahead of time. This game is basically, this portion is basically teaching you heal, because Ike should always have 1 HP at the end of this, if you choose to heal him at least once. Otherwise, he would be down, and you would get a game over, and Greil would be like, "You're not ready to be a mercenary!" Ugh. And now you can see the glorious defeated animations in Path of Radiance, where, unlike Shadows of Valentia, Fate's Awakening, it's not like they fall to the ground more realistically or get knocked back, but rather they'll just kneel in place. I'm like, ugh, defeated again. But then again, this is Intelligent Systems' first thing at making 3D models, so I think you could cut him a little slack here. Ike, you were great! Father, you were holding back, weren't you? What? Is that true? I mean, considering the guy's ahead of a mercenary company and probably has far more battle experience, if he went all out against you, Ike, I don't think you would be able to win. Like, seriously. Like, of course he was holding back. If you could tell the difference, that means you're improving. That also is the discipline skill yet. It was also to indicate that he was holding back. So, little way to implement gameplay into story. It's nice when they do that. You know, I wasn't really giving it my all either. That is such a lie. Bah. So, Father, does that mean you finally admit that I'm ready? What, to join the mercenary company? To take on a job? Yeah, I mean, Boyd's already out there on the battlefield. I'm ready. I'm tired of being a trainee. Listen, the difference between you and me is that I'm a professional. A professional who just got beat. That was just random chance. Random chance, even though our hit rates were 100%. Random chance. Ah, Boyd, you sound like a true Fire Emblem player already. You've got a point, Ike. Yes, Boyd does indeed suck. Alright, tomorrow will be your first day as a full-fledged mercenary. Really? But if I think it's too much, you're back to trainee status. You better work hard. No problem. Watch, I'll catch up to everyone in no time. We'll see. We'd better get back to the fort. Everyone's waiting. And we're going to end off the first episode here. I plan on dividing this based on the chapters. So, yes, this series is going to be more dialogue heavy and more reading stuff, but as the game goes on, we'll have longer sessions of gameplay. It won't be as... It'll still be as dialogue heavy, but there'll be more gameplay in between for actual just commentary and not just reading off. So, thank you to everyone who stuck around at this point in this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, leave a like, share with a friend because that's the best way to help the channel grow. Follow me on Twitter because that's the best way to stay up to date on when new videos come out because God knows YouTube system isn't that great. And that's putting it mildly. And subscribe if you want to see more. We'll be going through all of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. I've been really looking forward to making this, and I hope you look forward to watching it. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.